he aware that you were a made man in the Gambino family?
I think he understood that I was in the mafia. He didn't give a damn. He was in the mafia in Czechoslovakia, in his own mob and his own thing. It's like a cartel guy could probably give a shit about, what you're in. He knows what he's in. He's got his own power. When he pulled the gun, it was a machine gun, actually. It was a machine gun. I don't think he thought that. I don't know what he thought. That he was going to take over. He had more power than I had. He was richer than me. He had a whole cartel people in Czechoslovakia behind him. He was in the drug. He was a big drug dealer. But I don't know exactly what went through his head. And I know a couple of bullets went through his head. He was doing it, so he found out what it was about.
Ken wants to know, do you know any Boston Italian mob?
Boston? Yeah. I knew some guys from Boston. Yes. There was a good crew in Boston. There was a lot of good guys. There was a guy, his name, he actually did time with him. He became the boss of Frankie Cadillac, I think his name was. And he became the boss. And he was in prison with me for a little while. And his problem was, what was his name, Whitey Bulger? Yeah, that was his problem. Whitey Bulger ratted out the mob. He was a confidential informant for years. And he did a lot of killing people. All kinds of. Whitey Bulger was disgusting. There was a lot of things he did. I don't want to get into his whole story. But he was really a disgusting human being. Another animal.
Okay, I'm going to have Matt do some of the Instagram questions. So give it 2 seconds and he will start asking the Instagrammer questions.
All right. Hello. I'm going to go through some questions from Instagram and TikTok. First off, I want to give a shout out to some of our TikTok viewers. They're giving you a lot of gifts. That's all those hats were.
Ma, have you seen this happy
shout
birthday,
out
Ma?
to Michelle Contractor. She gave up Sako Midarian.
Thank you, Sako.
And Herman Trucking. First up, we have some questions from Pizzas 182. He asked, "Hey Sammy, if Gotti had problems with someone owing him money,
Handle situations like that. He had guys around him, a lot of guys around him. They could go collect their own money. So he didn't need me to go collect money. If I knew somebody owed him money and they weren't paying, I might advise them that the smart thing is to go pay the guy, but I didn't go out after people who owed him money.
PSZT, they asked, they said, "Sammy, God bless you. When was the last time you were in New York? Love you from home."
And I was there a very, very long time ago. I know I got busted there in 1990. I'm not sure if I ever went back after that. I did 5 years, I got out, I graduated, I left, and I never was able to go back to New York, because I was on parole. So I was never, even till today, I'm on parole, and they won't allow me to go to New York. So, maybe 1990 when I got busted, 1990, almost 1991. So when I got busted with him in 90, that's the last time I was in New York. But I have a lot of friends in New York, family. I got friends in Jersey and all around New York. And but I never really went back there. So I think 1990 was the last time I was there.
Wait, can I? I'm sorry. I just want to say this because this is actually a funny question. It's from Lee Castillo. Lee says, "Hey Sammy, when you were at the height of your career like the underboss, to you and asked for
or something like that, but on the show, I wouldn't give autographs.
Yeah, okay, so we have a comment here from CC001. They said, didn't Chin lose respect and kudos for messing up the Costello hit? Always fascinates me how he went on to become so powerful afterward.
He shot him in the head. That's not a fuck up. But the guy survived it. That's not his fault. And Costello left the life. He healed up, he never ratted, he never did anything, and he left the life. Because he knew this was coming from Vito Genovese.
That's not.
Why that actually kind of the one of us
It
do?
wouldn't stop him.
I don't know.
So he left the life.
Actually, I saw the people, I don't know, they said they'll
He actually
want to
shot
wait
him
to,
in the
some
head.
kind of talk about.
Hi, your phone needs to be in a
Wi-Fi, something.
See, your phone has to be in for text too. So we have to go to Verizon store next week and tell them, like, hey, what's up with this? You know, it's not supposed to be that way. It's ridiculous.
I wasn't texting it, but it looked like a kid not going through.
I got the text. I got one text when you went to Angie's friend's house. I texted you
Oh,
back.
that kind of, I wasn't going home. Before I leave.
We gotta go to Verizon. Have them see what's going on.
Over their house, I said, honey, are you awake? Because I need to know, time gotta,
I've been away since 6:50.
Well, it looks like you know what?
I've been away since 6:50.
But they couldn't text no one
It didn't come through.
LMSDD asked him why did Gotti want Chin gone?
And he knew Chin hated him. And Chin had balls. I mean, if you knew Chin and how rough and tough he was and ballsy, you would worry about Chin. If he hated you, that's not a good sign. And he couldn't stand Chin, Gotti. He hated him.
Sydney370 from TikTok asked, how did a mob member get paid? Was it like salary?
There's no salaries. You get pieces of scores which accrue, and you make your own life. Some guys have restaurants, own restaurants. I own construction businesses that were legit. I made money with that. I own a plumbing company, a carpentry company. Companies like that, I made legitimate money. I had pieces of restaurants. I even had a piece of the Plaza Suite, which was a disco. After hour joints, I had Shylock and envelopes. There's no pay. It's what you make.
I am going to jump back into Super Chat. Bubba says, did you ever have any plans to take out John after Frankie DeChico died? Were you going to make any attempts before the final arrests? Love you, man.
No, I was loyal to a fault. When Frankie died, I went to see John that same day, and we knew it was me and him against the world. We needed to put in an underboss. Frankie was the underboss when he was blown up, and somebody to calm things down. We picked Joe Piney because he was an old timer, good guy. Everybody loved him, respected him. So we sent him out there as the new underboss, calming things down. Not that we're in war and there's going to be hundreds of guys killed, so that's how we picked Joe Piney.
JB Weld wants to know, were the Bellattis as big a family within the family like the DeChicos were? And were the Bellattis more dangerous than the DeChicos?
No. The Bellattis, there was Tommy Bellotti was killed, and it was his brother Joey Bellotti, who was really a tough guy. There were sons and people who were not really into life, and Joey understood the life. He understood what me and Frankie, right after the hit, Joe Watts wanted to kill Joey Bellotti, and I had saved him. I had said, no, he's a good guy. He'll understand, and we'll put him with people. He's okay. He'll understand. This is the life. And John Gotti said, well, then you go down and meet him. I said, I will. And put him with me. And I was already a captain. So I went down. Frankie DeChico was alive. And he said, listen, I'll go down with Sammy. And we went and we met him in a Greek diner. He was a little nervous. I said, Joey, how long do you know me? He says, a long time, Sammy. I opened my jacket, he saw the gun. I said, if I was here to kill you, would you be talking or would you be dead? He said, I would be dead. So I'm not here. I closed my jacket. I said, I'm not here for that. I'm here to save your life, bro. I understand it's your brother. He was in the life. He wasn't the best of guys. They didn't like him. And he had to go. Wasn't my order, but it was done. Something you gotta live with. Joey Bellotti had 9 kids. So did Tommy. I said, listen, you got 18 kids to take care of. You're in the life. Take care of your kids. You'll be under me. You'll be with me. I'll take care of you. You'll never get hurt. Just abide by the rules. Frankie DeChico said, I'm here, Joey, to tell you that Sammy saves your life. He stepped forward. We're going to put you with him. And Frankie, he had a gun too. That goes. He knew if it was a hit, he was dead. He would have been gone. And if they, not only me and Frankie, he knew if there was a hit, there'd be another 4, 5, 6 guys. So he grabbed me, hugged me, kissed me on the cheek. He said, Sammy, I will be with you and I will be loyal to you. And I understand the life. I understand how my brother was, and I understand the thinking. And you're right. I got a lot of kids to take care of, and family. And I will be, no matter where you send for me, I'll be there. Meet me if I want to meet you in a weird spot, in a basement somewhere or something. If I wanted to kill you, you'd be dead now. We wouldn't be talking. You'd be laying on the floor there. And he knows I'm the guy who put together the Castellano hit. So he knew, and Castellano got killed in the middle of Manhattan for the tens of thousands of people, right in front of Sparks. So he knew I would have killed him in this restaurant we were eating. It would have made no difference to me. And he knew that. So, and we got along great. Matter of fact, I'm going to add something to it. After I cooperated, Joe Watts, this scumbag, wanted to kill my son to make me all fucked up before I went to trials. Joey Bellotti found out about it, and I cooperated. Now I'm gone. Not a good guy. I'm a cooperator. And he told Joe Watts, he called him in. If you touch that kid, one fucking hair on his head, I will kill you in a split second. I won't ask permission or nothing. I will kill you. Joe Watts told me. He was worried. Joey was a tough guy. Shooter, tough with his hands, tough with everything. He knew it wasn't a joke. And he actually saved my son's life, Joey Bellotti. And when I found out through the feds and through people, I never forgot that. So, you should know that part of the story as well.
Unwoke in your super chat says, please give me a shout out.
There's the screen thing here.
Money.
You're getting gifts.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
The screen is white.
Okay, so Unwoke asks, please give me a shout out. Nav from Scotland, and you, sir, are the OG.
Now I'm from Scotland, bro. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I love your country, by the way. I really do. So, it's a beautiful country. It's right near Ireland. And, you know, I always wanted to go there. So I'll never go there. I'm on the road. I'm not out of the country. So, but thank you, man.
Hope says, Sammy, did you ever dance to
If I did, I danced in my house and the way nobody saw me. No, I don't think I ever danced like that in public. No.
saying, salute to Sammy, what do you make of the Japanese? They cut their own fingers for the boss. Grazie.
The Japanese, listen, they were tough people. There's no question about it. They were tough, dedicated people to their country. When we fought them in World War II, you couldn't beat them. They didn't want to surrender. The only thing that made them surrender was we hit them with 2 atom bombs. They were so big, they killed 100,000 people as soon as the bomb hit. And then God knows how many people with the air quality and all that shit. And it made them quit. They surrendered. They wanted to save their people. But on the ground, you couldn't beat them. You could have 200 Marines after 10 of them. They wouldn't surrender. They would fight until they were dead. They were tough people. Japanese people are good people. And after that war, we became friends. And they've been a tremendous ally of the United States ever since. After the cars you drive, and technology, and they work with us, and they've always been a friend. And they put the past in the past. I wish a lot of people and a lot of countries could do that. All fighting with Muslims and this and that, hatred, going back. Take a lesson from the Japanese. They put that on the back burner. Let's go forward. And all that killing, fighting stopped. And we became great allies. I wish a lot of countries would learn a lesson from them. They're good people. And they're tough.
JB Wells, back in your super chat. If a Shylock dies, does the street consider all debts forgiven? If the Shylock was connected to you, the outstanding debts.
No, listen, if a Shylock dies, you go to the family, the boss, he'll put somebody there collecting the money. You gotta pay the money. You know, they don't just forgive it. Maybe a couple of heavyweights might be in there that they might forgive, but they're not gonna forgive everybody. No. Somebody will be there to collect that money. They should give at least half of it to the family, or part of it, so the family is taken care of out of his book. So they should. They don't always do that, but they should.
Next question is from Anubis. Sammy, can a made man go to the boss and ask to stop coming in? Would he face any consequences for making such a request?
Why would he want to stop coming in when called? That's a rule. Now, if he was sick, or there's weird things, maybe a family member that their wife is dying, they want to be by their wife's side all the time. We're understanding of those things. We're not animals. We're not going to call the guy. We'll tell him, God, don't worry about it. And but you can't just walk away from the life. When you're born into the life, when you take that oath, you take that oath for life. You walk into the life, you go out dead when you die. But if certain people have cancer, they have a problem, they're not going to come in, and you're not going to call them in. Right? We're not animals. We'll coexist. But if you just want to walk away, you can't walk away with our secrets because you feel like it. They're our secrets. We don't want you to walk away with our secrets. And you took that oath. Now, we'll recognize your problems. You know, it's like they say, you know, if your wife or your kids or your mother, father, whoever it is dying, and the boss says for you, you gotta walk away from them and go to the boss. That's a rule. But nobody will enforce that rule. Where the rule is meant to show how important the oath is that you're taking. Will you kill? When the family asks you to kill, you better say yes. Or you don't belong getting me. Would you walk away from your family who's dying? Yes. But I never would. If my kid was dying in bed, second of all, nobody will call me. They'll tell the boss his son is dying, God forbid, or his daughter. He's by her bedside. All right. When I tell him when he's dying, you can get in touch. You're not gonna get killed for that. They'll recognize that. Any boss who's got any kind of intelligence will recognize that. Even in my trade, you gotta come down. You gotta work. You gotta be with me. But So, I got a few people who didn't show up here. They're supposed to go to work. Should I fire them? No. I don't even dock them to pay. They're not here. Normally, I don't even dock them. I'm going to start docking them. Now, as soon as I said that, his eyes opened up. This, well, what? He's going to start docking us?
Oh my god.
So, like she did it today. It's just an example. Our daughter, she had to pick her up at school, or this, that, and everything. Yeah. I'm not going to dock her. I understand there's a problem, but she would be here if she was sick. When she was sick once or twice, she came with a mask. That's loyalty. I expect loyalty, but not die hard. Yeah, fuck your daughter. Get over here. No. That's an animal. That's not what we are in the mafia. So we're just not that way. So, but we try to say, this is above everything. We're trying to show you how important this oath is when you're getting it. But we live by an oath too, as a boss or an underboss. We're human. I would understand that. My father was dying, my mother was dying, I want to be there. I don't give a fuck what's going on with the rest of the world. And they understand that, unless it's a out-and-out emergency for some reason. So if you're called and they tell you, no, you gotta be there, it's very important, very important. And then maybe somebody's gonna die if I'm not there, so I'm gonna go. I'll leave my mother's bedside for a small period of time and go find out what happened. What's that big?
Just you showing support and respect, Sam.
Thank you.
Patrick, no question or comment, just a kick up to you.
Thank you, Patrick.
And so I am going to do 2 more super chats, and whatever super chats I do not get to today, I'm going to hit up the top of the hour on Thursday with them. So Patrick Lombardi says, hey boss, I was raised in North New Jersey, born in, is it called Weehawken? I don't know. That's how it's spelled. I don't know, guys.
Yeah, I think I know.
Okay. He said the DeCavalcante was big in my neighborhood. What did the 5 families think about them, and did they respect them or use them?
We respected them, used them. I know who they were. I knew them very well. I knew the boss. I knew the underboss. I knew everything. Everybody. They're a good family. They're not as big as the other families, but we didn't disrespect them. We respected them. They didn't have the same power, and I don't even believe they were on the list. They were smaller. Now let me say another thing, because I was just looking at the camera myself. I was putting my lighter over here. This thing over here that in between my legs that keeps flashing. If it's flashing at you, it's my cigarette lighter. So I know. I got a text message from somebody saying, what's between your legs? What do you mean, what's between my legs? They said it kept starting, whatever. It's a cigarette lighter. Sometimes I put it down. I put it by my leg.
Okay.
So in case you see that thing shining, it's my cigarette lighter.
Oh my god. Alright, let me do one more question, and then we are going to wrap it up. From Benny Russo. Sammy, I know the Gambinos and Genovese were equal in power, but isn't it true that Chin was more powerful than Gotti?
Yes, in the commission, Chin carried a lot of weight. It's not only that he was super tough and dangerous, but he abided by the rules of the life in a good way. I happen to like Chin a lot. I had a few meetings with him that were big. He asked me for a favor one time. There was a couple of kids that I had a contract on. One. I had a contract on a few of them, but this one. He called me to a meeting, Paul let me go, and he said, Sammy, I'm going to ask you for a favor. He didn't try to bully me or anything. He says, I'm going to ask you for a favor. I said, what is it? This kid. You got the right to whack him. He did the wrong thing. I know you got permission. His father was a friend of ours, meaning a made guy. We killed him. We don't know that. We killed him. And we take care of the wife and the family. Now, to have the kid killed, the kid was wrong. I would ask you for a favor, if you can give him a pass, don't kill him.
Okay.
I said, okay, Jen, but I'm going to ask you for a favor. And he said, what? How I found out about this whole thing was a kid named Robert Scapacci, who's with you people. I found out what this kid was doing through him. Now, he should have came to you first. And I know that more than likely, you know the whole story now, you're going to wind up killing him. He did save my life. Would you give him a... He looked at me and he said, nice, Zebby. Nice. I like the way you think. Yes. I'll give him a pass. I'm going to throw him out of our family. He can go with another fucker. He's not made. I'll make him go with another family. So I put my hand out. I said, that kid, I won't touch him. He says, and I give you my word, if he comes anywhere near you or fucks with you in any way, shape, or form, I will kill him myself. We shook hands. That's the kind of guy Chin was. Now, I didn't hold his hand. I couldn't. And, but that's the kind of guy he was. He was not only respected, feared, he was loved. He was a good guy. When it came that time to things like that, he asked me for a favor. I could do whatever I wanted. And, because I had permission from my boss, Castellano. And, so, Gotti wasn't like that. So, he had 10 times more respect than Gotti. And when his consigliere, Bobby Manna, went to prison, he gave Bobby Manna and the Jersey crew, that's where Bobby Manna came from, they killed John Gotti. So, and they never did it because they got pinched. They got caught talking about killing John Gotti on tape with a few other murders, and he went away, Bobby Manna. He got out now. I don't know if he's alive anymore. I think he died. He did a lot of time. And so Chin was a man of his word, and that carries a lot of weight. Now, if you're a tough motherfucker and you got all that other stuff which he had, you better respect a guy like that. You have to, unless you're an idiot. And so John, he was much more respected than John. John, a lot of guys, Fat Andy, a lot of guys even in our family didn't respect what he was doing, all that flash, walking around, all that bullshit he was doing. He was despised by a lot of families. The Genovese family hated him. The Lucchese family hated him. The Colombo family didn't like him at all. So he had every family not liking him for what he was doing, and guys in our family as well. But Chin had a lot of guys, a guy named Bonnie Colombo, they loved him. And they were tough guys. They were real close to him. But Chin was a good man, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. I am going to wrap up our live, but before we do that, you guys, whatever super chats I did not ask today, there were about 4 or 5 of them. I'm going to go ahead and ask them at the top of our Thursday live. You guys asked for it, we listened, and now we're doing Thursdays as well. So Thursday at noon, tune in for all of you in the chat that are asking about notifications. Please just check mark the little bell on your YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. There's notifications. Just turn them on and you'll get the notifications when we do it. Sterling always posts on the story when we go live anyway. Lastly, to the international fans, if you guys want to order anything from the workshop, you are more than welcome to shoot me an email, support@sammythebull.com. I can take care of you that way because unfortunately you can't do it through the website directly.
And another little thing, if you come on Thursday, we have a special little treat. I'm going to do a striptease.
Oh, God. Absolutely not.
Alright, absolutely not.
Alright.
Who the fuck wants to see an old man do a striptease?
adventure. Summer is here and you've got places to go.
All good road trips starts right here at Hendrick. We'll check your battery, tire pressure, top off your fluids,
Check your cooling system and do a multi-point inspection.
keeping you safe anywhere you want to go.
For free. Book your road ready appointment today.
I've tested every fitness tech equipment.
shit.
Somebody swung at me. And then as the guy's kicking at me, whatever. I'm here on the phone. What? Why am I here? Well, balance. Here. My head is here. Ready to strike.
Oh. Excuse me.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Conversations from the Heart. Today we are joined by another very special guest. This is Grandmaster Eric Lino. He's up in North Carolina. Grandmaster Eric has many accolades in the martial arts. He's an 8th degree black belt in Hapkido, 7th degree black belt in Taekwondo, 4th degree black belt in Kuksowan, and recently got his brown belt in Judo. Okay, yes. He also teaches different disciplines and styles as well, such as kickboxing, and I was able to learn a little bit more and dive into some of those accolades and just kind of get to know you a little better, sir.
So, yes, this is our first time meeting, and it's a big honor for us. I heard a lot about you through the grapevine and things like that, and I just wanted to kind of sit down. No, only good things. I want to sit down and get to know you a little bit. Maybe you can tell us and our viewers how you got started in the martial arts and kind of where you're at today.
Absolutely. Well, I started over 40 years ago at it's called Glenside Shotokan Karate Club. That was the first style of martial arts I did was Shotokan. I did that for 6-7 years. The early, mid 80s till about 89. I did that, and back in the 1980s, kids, there was no kids that were black belts. There was never black belt kids, so I didn't make it a black belt in Shotokan. But my parents divorced when I was 2, so in '89, my mother we moved up to the Poconos, Pennsylvania, and there's why I was introduced to Hapkido, and I never went back. I started the Korean martial arts in '89, and I just never went back.
Nice. So you've been doing that for like 40 years.
Since 1989, so 36 years I've been doing Hapkido. The Shotokan prior to that was about 6 years, so
Sure.
41 years.
Yeah. And did that travel around to learn your Hapkido, or was it mostly at one location?
Mostly one location. But after my instructor, who he's recently back.
Please, Rain,
I think he's
please.
back to Korea again. But I think because he was hit a couple years back. His body was physically hit by a car.
What?
Yeah, in his 70s, he was hit by a car and still going. But he felt it was
What a heck of a break fall.
yeah, exactly.
I should have seen the car. Yes, sir.
But he feels that the medical, at least I guess from his opinion, the medical systems are better in Korea. So he's had a couple of operations here, and it seems to just keep messing him up more and everything. So he's been dying back to Korea to see a Korean doctor. I think that's where he's at right now. But anyhow, I was with him mostly, but then he left for a while before, and then I was teaching. Then I was learning under one of our highest students, Grandmaster Code at the time, which was Grandmaster Vince Perduto. And then I moved back down to Philadelphia, and then I was training under Grandmaster Taesu's son with the Korea Hapkido Federation. But Grandmaster Sun Boko is my main instructor, so I consider my main instructor.
Nice. Yes, sir. Nice. So,
Ah!
we been working with Chung Soo Lee. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with the name.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
I was going to ask a little bit about, you had mentioned you started in Shotokan karate and then got into Hapkido. What was it about the Hapkido training that immediately caught your attention? You know, you said you started Hapkido. What was that pull that drew you in and hasn't let go yet?
Well, honestly, it was more a mistake than it was by accident, really, than anything. Because I was going to continue doing Shotokan, but the problem was I used to have braces back then, and on my way to the orthodontist, Grandmaster Ko's dojang, in Korean called dojang, in Japanese is dojo, was on the way, so we always saw it, but we never saw any Shotokan school. And it turns out there was actually a Shotokan that was actually closer to us. We didn't know about it, but anyway. So the one day we're coming back, my mother's like, let's stop in here. Because she's always, saw me looking. She knows I love I've been doing martial arts since I said I was a little kid. I've always loved it. I was just happy to be punching and kicking. I didn't know anything about styles and that. I didn't know. I just wanted to be punching and kicking. To me, everything was a karate movie. Like you watch in Philadelphia and Sunday, there was a thing called Kung Fu Theater that would come on from 12 to 2. They show all the chopsaki movies, from China and stuff like that. I would always call them karate movies. Everything to me was just karate.
Yes, sir.
So anyways, we stopped in to look at the place, and Master Ko was giving a class, and he was doing things I just never seen before, even from my Japanese instructor. Like it was more of the high fancy kicks for one, which I was really impressed with. But when I seen him run up the wall and kick the ceiling, that kind of was like, he kind of had me at the hello, But so Shotokan blocking, just blocking, punching, striking, very, very little self-defense type of stuff, At least, again, I was a kid, so I don't know what the adult classes were doing. But we were doing self-defense, like the wrist locks from day one, and I just really enjoyed that because honestly, I thought I was gonna be learning. I just came out recently above the law at that time. Yeah. So, and I loved it. I loved that movie. I was like, but I just assumed it was, Steven Seagal stuff. So, joint locks, I'm like, it must be, the Aikido stuff. It's just, like I said, by accident. But, like, this stuff that Mexico would have me doing, and stuff that he did was just out of this world. So, that was it. I never looked at that. Like, I didn't start Taekwondo until 1996. Most people do Taekwondo first. Yeah. Then I was doing Hapkido Kupso 1 since '89. I did that because someone else taught us Kupso. So I was doing that before I even started at Taekwondo.
Well, they all kind of came out of the same movement, I guess, sort of martial arts renaissance in Korea.
Yeah, they came around the same era, but definitely totally different backgrounds. So
But there was this movement in Korea to rekindle Korean pride to the martial arts and take it back to being known. And there's a lot of,
unfortunately, a lot of falsehoods were made out of that era.
there's thousands of years old and all that kind of stuff. But it's. I have a lot of friends who do Hapkido and Kuksuwan, and I feel like they're just sort of connective tissue there. So, what made you fall in love with Hapkido versus other disciplines that you've studied? Or do you like them all?
No, Hapkido is my favorite. I studied very little Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which it's amazing. I just learned enough from a friend of mine who was a purple belt. He went to the Willis Gracie Academy up there in Scranton, Pennsylvania. So I just learned a little bit from him, just for my own sake. Defense history, I would never say I can teach anybody that, But it's amazing. But I just liked Hapkido because it's just the foundation of it with the joint locks and the mixture with the joint locks, the kicking, the striking. To me, it encompasses everything. Like we even have ground techniques in Hapkido, nothing to the degree of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu by any means. Our techniques are more you get knocked to the ground as to how to defend yourself to get back up on your feet. Ground, but like I said, it encompasses everything. So I just kind of Hapkido is just I fell in love with it.
I feel like it's a very robust art. I've been doing Hapkido for a long time too, not as long as you, but I really enjoyed it. And one of the things that I use a lot, so I also done a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and man, Hapkido's got some great wrist locks, and I've gotten a lot of guys with those wrist locks. Hapkido is
just in general is a really robust discipline. You know, it's got all the kicks and punches that Taekwondo and a lot of other ones that are kind of more self-defense oriented, that are kind of unusual from a Taekwondo background. It's also got a lot of the throws and like judo and stuff. And
Exactly, absolutely.
this might be just an uninformed question, but is the cane specifically a Hapkido like related weapon to train with?
I think it actually comes from the Japanese jiu-jitsu, and I think because Hapkido, listen, say what you want, you can have your history all you want. The truth of the matter is, Chaeyoung Soo learned Daito Aikijutsu from Takeda, from Sensei Takeda. Like I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Takeda. I'm sorry, it's Takeda. Okay, so Takeda. Okay, and Aikijutsu had cane techniques, so it came from Aikijutsu. So. I mean, Bob, you can have, Hapkido's 2,000 years old. No, it's not. No, it's not. Maybe it's roots from Daito, Aikijutsu, maybe. You could, if you want to get technical like that, you could say it, but Hapkido itself, no. It's 1940s.
I asked because, from one of the Hapkido seminars we've attended, that is one of the things that really stuck out to me, and I guess it was just that seminar, that Grandmaster using the cane, and I just remember like having my wrist in the cane and like the wrist lock with the cane, and now every time I see a cane, my wrist starts to go like boom, 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 and people realize.
I really enjoy the cane technique. Actually, Grandmaster Steve Sexton, who's become a really close friend of mine.
Oh,
He moved from California here to North Carolina himself. He lives not too far from me. He even says the cane is his favorite technical weapon. That's proud. He's very a practical person. Like he's, legend for beating heads in because as a bouncer, and he's proven that Hapkido works in the real world. So nothing fancy, anything the fancy stuff. He didn't use, but he's proven that Hapkido is effective. And if he says a cane is an actual good weapon, you can take that to the bank. I like the cane. I like the dumbbell, the short stick, because this cracks somebody with a nose a dumbbell. It'll be effective. Trust me.
And those are weapons you could easily acquire in just
Absolutely.
ultimate situation.
It really is it's the long bones, Japanese called bow staff. That's my because you can use that. You can pretty much use anything like a bow staff, a broomstick, mop.
Yeah,
It's very practical. Very practical.
Yeah.
And it keeps that distance. It keeps you that distance away from the opponent that where I feel safe.
Yeah. So, I have some friends who do Kukso Wan, and I've trained with them, and I think there's a lot of similarity between Hapkido and Kukso Wan. They're both very diverse arts. How would you compare and contrast them as someone who has a lot of experience in both?
Kukso Wan is Hapkido with a little bit of Kung Fu in it. That's it. It's Hapkido with some Kung Fu in it. That's it. Ram Musu, Hapkido with some Kung Fu in it. That's all it is. It's all Hapkido. All the guys branch off, made these different styles. Kukso Wan, Rangdo, they're all Hapkido people first. They all studied under Chaeyoung Soo or Ji Han Jae. They're all Hapkido people first. Their style is basically Hapkido with a little extra this and a little extra that added to it. That's all it is.
Have you heard of Kukso Do? Kind of an American offshoot of Kukso Wan?
Yeah, it's just Hapkido. American offshoot of Hapkido with a little bit of added Kung Fu stuff to it. Kukso Kwan. Actually, Kukso Kwan Hapkido was around before actually Kukso Wan. And I have a good friend who's like the head of the Kukso Wan out in California, named Grandmaster Mike Dunchak, and he can explain it better. But there's Kukso Kwan before Kukso Wan even so. And it's called Kukso Kwan Hapkido. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Wan and Kwan are basically the same word, so that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
I like hearing the history and the kind of like the ancestral roots of the arts and the disciplines. And okay, well here's this person and here's their branches, and like we can trace back. I wanted to ask too. So you had mentioned the school that you're currently operating, Tigers Black Belts. So how do you go from starting Really training an artist in the 80s and in the 90s to, okay, now you are running a school. Like what led you into, you know what, I'm going further than just being a student. I want to be an instructor. I want to lead up this next generation.
Oh, well, I've been teaching for many years. Like I taught for my instructor. I've taught for other schools. Like I've been teaching for many years. I just never got around to just ever getting my own dojo. For one, I didn't want the hassle of it, And plus, I'm not very good with money, so I don't even know how to start a business. But I've taught for many people. I've taught for many years. Like I said, I've been teaching since the early mid-1990s. So I've been teaching for quite a while. If you teach, it makes you better.